Hey everybody, it's Jim from Cigars. I was thinking back to the time when I was a new cigar smoker and some of the mistakes that I made, because I did make a few mistakes, things I wish I would have done a little bit differently. So in this video, what I want to talk about is the traps that I fell into and maybe give you some hints on how to avoid those. So let's get started. The first suggestion that I have is don't fall into the trap of only smoking mild cigars. And I'm talking about Connecticut shade cigars by and large. If you say to almost anybody, hey, I'm a new smoker, what kind of cigar should I smoke? 90% of them are going to say Connecticut shade, because there's a lot of advantages to those. They're mild, they're easy to light, they're easy to smoke, they stay lit, they give really good smoke production. But on the downside, one thing is they're very fragile. But even more important, Connecticut shade cigars are very hard to differentiate between brands. They all sort of taste the same, so you're really not getting a very broad experience by sticking only to Connecticut shade cigars. I'm going to suggest is that you explore the whole spectrum of boldness of cigars, from Connecticut shade mild cigars, medium full, and even full-bodied cigars. One of the main themes of this video is that smoking cigars is an exploration, it's experimentation, and learning what you like and don't like. And in order to do that, you really got to try a variety of different cigars. So don't limit yourself just to Connecticut shade cigars. Along the same lines, don't limit yourself to flavored or infused cigars. Flavored and infused cigars may turn out to be your thing, but you're not going to learn about other cigars unless you try other ones as well. And I think it's really important in your early smoking experience to get the unadulterated taste of tobacco leaf without any extra tastes or additions made to that flavor. Third, if you buy your cigars at a brick and mortar cigar shop, don't blindly follow their recommendations. I've seen so often people go into their local cigar shop and they say, oh, I'm new to smoking, what should I try first? They're probably going to say Connecticut shade, and we've talked about that. The guys that work in cigar stores and own cigar stores aren't necessarily an impartial source of information. They may have a rep that they like and they'll recommend those cigars, or they may have a certain brand that they like personally and they'll recommend those. Or maybe slow-moving items or items they make extra margin on. So you have to make up your own mind on these things. Certainly don't be afraid to ask for advice. When I go into my local brick and mortar cigar shop, I always ask, hey, what's new? What do you got? What's hot right now? But I also bring in a list of cigars that I've researched that I want to look into buying there. So I'll generally walk out the door with maybe 3 cigars that I pick out and one of their recommendations. Listen to their recommendations, ask for their recommendations, but don't necessarily follow them blindly. The fourth thing I want to talk about might be a little controversial, and that's that I suggest you don't rush into the ultra premium cigar brands right away. Give yourself 6 months or 40 or 50 cigars under your belt to get a feel for what the standard baseline cigars taste like, the $8 or $10 or $12 cigars taste like, before you start buying the $25 or $35 or $40 cigars. And actually, it's a mistake that I made. I started out pretty quickly. I was buying Cuban Cohibas and Padrones and Opus X's and Davidoff and stuff like that. And frankly, it was wasted on me because I didn't really have any basis of comparison. So I'm going to suggest give yourself a basis of comparison. But get a few standard price cigars under your belt before you start launching into those expensive ones. And I think you'll appreciate them more when you get to that point. The last suggestion I have for you, and it was a big mistake that I made, is don't go crazy buying boxes and bundles. A box I'm defining as 20 or 24 or 26 cigars. You can buy boxes of 10 and maybe those are okay. But if you're a pretty new smoker, committing to 20 or 24 cigars at a pop is probably not a good idea, because your tastes are changing and getting refined. And it was a big mistake that I made, as a matter of fact. One of the first boxes I bought was CAO Pilon cigars. And those aren't bad cigars by any means, but I think I got one in a sampler or something like that, smoked it, and I went, oh my God, this is the greatest cigar in the history of mankind. So I quick got a box of 20 of them, I think. And they aren't bad cigars, but I'm telling you, it was 3 years before I finished that box. Because about 2 months after I got them, I went, my tastes have changed. This really isn't my favorite kind of cigar anymore. If you're buying cigars 20 at a pop, it's easy to tie up your whole budget pretty quickly with boxes of cigars. So what I'm going to recommend is treat 5 packs and samplers as your friend. If you buy mail order or on the internet, they sell 5-packs and samplers a lot. In samplers, you might get a few clunkers in there, but it gives you a wide variety of cigars to try. And again, that's what we're getting at here. All right, that's all I have. I hope you got something out of this video. If you're a pretty new smoker or even an experienced smoker and you're looking for ideas of cigars to try, I have a video that talks about that. So click on this and you will be able to get to that video right away. Hey, thank you for watching. Also, while you're here, click on that red C circle and subscribe. I'll see you next time.